Let the dragon consume you! Enemy sighted. Stop the payload! Stop the payload! In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. Welcome to episode 64 of the Bird Watchers. I'm your host, Ryan. In this episode, I take a look at the 2019 Breakable Barriers 2 North American Finals. Another mouthful. They need shorter names for these events. Happy holidays. Hope you all get to enjoy this with your family and friends. This is going to be the last episode of the Bird Watchers before the end of the year, and then we'll pick it back up because I would like to do the same. But recently, we had, news-wise, we had an Overwatch Homefront support series for this year, or supporter series for this year, and it was a huge success. We had all the support, or a couple of the support groups get together, have a small tournament for charities of their choice, mostly local charities, and just have a good time, right? So I want to thank, the Five Deadly Venoms, Toronto Alpha Flight, and Lone Star Vanguard for welcoming the Atlanta Royal family with open arms. We had a blast. Thanks to Battle and Brew for hosting us, letting us play there. As always, that's the home base. Love them to death. And then, thanks to all the players who participated and represented the groups and the teams for these charities. It was a great cause, and it was, good success in our opinion. And it's going to come again next year. We're trying to do more of these charity events because they're fun for everybody involved and it's for a good cause. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll keep you guys updated. But today we're going to talk about Breakable Barriers. So what is this new Breakable Barriers tournament? So it's an open division single elimination tournament with a small prize pool, which is open to all teams who decide to register. So, streamers, normal players, if you're on ladder and you do well, you put together a team, register properly, and then you can play in this tournament. There's not really a limit. And then it just kind of runs through the single elimination bracket. Matches are online. They're first to 3, and then they're region-based. So that means, region-based North America, Europe. So it kind of just like you're used to with contenders. And the prize pool is very small. It's kind of meant to be more of a exposure thing and to hold people over until the contenders come back, or Overwatch League as well. So for third place, you get $600. For second place, you get $750, and then for first, you get $1,200. So a little bit of change, for a fun weekend with your friends. Then, so we're gonna focus on the finals for this episode because there were a lot of games. I mean, I caught what I could here and there. It doesn't really make sense for us to go through the bracket since a lot of the team names are kind of memes, and then the mixture is a mix of players from different teams. So it's kind of hard to get any value out of going through that. But for the finals, what we end up having was the Skyfoxes versus T3 Subs, which I will be referring to as Revival for the remainder of this episode. It's just easier to say, right? And it is the majority of the team. So for the Skyfoxes roster, we have Asking on DPS, which, he needs no introduction. Previously of Samsung Morning Stars, the guy has been, performing very well, and everybody's been focused on trying to get him in the league as fast as possible. We have Speedily on DPS here, in tandem with Asking, and he's previously of XL2 Gaming. We have Mikey on tank. We have Salty as the other tank, who's previously of Third Impact. And then we have Medkip on support. And rounding out the supports here, we have Crusade, who used to play for British Hurricanes and also played for Team Netherlands in the 2018 and 2019 World Cup. So for Revival, we have Razor and Aspire on DPS. We have Bogar on tank, who was previously on Nocturnal Esports and then played for Team Bulgaria in the 2019 World Cup this year. So props for the representation there. Frosted and Cowman on tank as well. We have Aspen on support, who's a popular streamer. She needs no introduction, who currently now plays for Revival to see if she can cut it, in the league actually. And she's been saying that she's having a lot of fun in this shift because it's a completely different environment from just playing competitive ladder and just streaming, right? And then we have Doggo and Liar on support as well for Revival. So we're going to start off with our first map, which is Control. And that on Nepal. So Skyfox kind of show out here. They start off very strong. You do have Revival on Shrine, start off with the first cap, and they get about 27% after a quick kill on Asking, which is probably what you want to do when playing against them. But Skyfoxes end up taking over and hold the point and the ult economy for the remainder of the round. So Skyfoxes end up winning Shrine. This takes us to Sanctum next as the next round. And Revival get an instant pick on Skyfox's BEPT, so they're starting with one support down, but Revival end up losing the following fight, which is kind of embarrassing, and the Skyfoxes end up taking that first cap. So with this momentum, they completely control it throughout the rest of this round, and a lot of this is based on Asking is moving freely on Hanzo and single flanking without much resistance. Crusade is on Lucio, and he's causing a lot of trouble. That's his character with the boot pressure, and at one point he gets a 4-man boop after a halt, which is crazy to watch. The whole team just kind of move forward and fall off a cliff. Also, over both rounds, you have Salty on Sigma, and he has solid pressure, and he's also doing a great job of cleaning up kills. So that all lends itself to Skyfoxes taking Sanctum and then winning Nepal, and they start off this series 1-0, which is a great way to start. So we move to Route 66. We have Skyfoxes again kind of imposing their will on Revival. Revival start on attack first. This attempt is a true struggle for Revive since they're really unable to get that cart around the corner. This is once again due to the pressure from Asking on Hanzo and this solo flank mentality, his consistency on the character, and Revival's inability to get close enough to actually pressure him leads to a stalled cart and a full hold on their end. Skyfoxes attack next, and Asking continues this Hanzo rampage by getting 3 consecutive picks after a little bit, and that to start the round. And so without much distance to cover after that one fight, that's the only one they needed. And Skyfoxes cap, they win Route 66 and they go up 2-0 in this series, and that's a very quick start. And then we get to an actual battle, which I'm going to call the map of the match here, just because it's interesting to see the back and forth. We go to Eichenwald next. Revival's on attack, and this map starts with a pharmacy battle, so a shift in tone. But this tips in actually Revival's favor since they do a better job of controlling the skies. Aspire swaps to Widow as well and causes an issue for Skyfoxes with kill after kill. I haven't followed him much. I did not know he was this good on Widow. But it's kind of crazy to see the swing with Razor on Pharah doing well and then him on Widow just popping off. So Revival cap point 1 with a solid time bank, and they move the cart uncontested about halfway through point 2. You have Speedily swap to Doomfist on the side of Skyfoxes, and he provides some resistance. It allows them to get their footing back. Skyfoxes are able to continue that hold on point 2 and stop Revival short of the cap. Skyfoxes go next on attack. We start with Pharmacy battle again, and once again, Revivals come up on top with Razor outperforming on Pharah, and Aspire is no slouch on Hanzo either. Skyfoxes are able to cap point 1 with a few seconds remaining. Point 2 doesn't get any easier for them, and with the loss of the time bank on point 1, the attempt, they only get 1 real fight to cap, and unfortunately they end up splitting the team during that fight, and Revival take advantage of that to hold. Revival end up winning Eichenwald, making the series 2-1, so we have a game. So now Temple of Anubis is next. And Skyfoxes go on attack first, and they absolutely roll over Revival to cap point 1 fast and continue this momentum on a point 2, I think finishing with 4:27 remaining, which is impressive, but it's also Temple of Anubis, so something that's a common occurrence. And one of the reasons people hate 2CP is that momentum ability on the attack side. Revival go next, and they have a tough time on point 1 and 2, but they are able to get a full cap, finishing with a bit of a less time with 3:23 remaining on the clock. Round 2 is Revival starting since they have less time, and they have a better point 1 attempt. They cap that quickly, but they're unable to get any progression on point 2 this round. Skyfoxes then go next, and although Revival put up a great defensive effort on the back once again of Aspire's Widow play, they stagger themselves on point 1 and are unable to get set up in time on point 2 for defense, and that results in a quick cap from Skyfoxes, and Skyfoxes win Temple of Anubis in the finals 3-1. So they are back-to-back champions of the Breakable Barriers tournament. So yeah, I mean, overall, it was a cool game to watch. It was very quick, and I think a lot of these games were very quick because one thing I think people forget is when you cut out a lot of the advertisement and the commercials and the fluff, and you're going game to game to game, especially in the custom game mode. If you've ever played it, it goes right. Once you pick your map, you just go into it. There's no downtime. It moves a lot faster. And I think that's good for this tournament because this tournament's so open to everyone. You have so many teams playing. You don't really have time for that room, that fluff. So people just kind of want to see games, right? And see their favorite streamers and favorite players they follow outside the scene, kind of get in there and get at it. So props to Skyfoxes. I mean, back to back, it's an impressive showing as they move into the next contender season. Same for Revival, being one of the newer teams to kind of show what they have here. So yeah, verdict. Asking is definitely a player to watch. I mean, that's no news. That's not really news, right? He's been crushing it, and it's going to be great to see how fast he can get to the league. And if there's a place for DPS players, that's another question people have been having with the current meta and the current situation. But Hanzo's crazy, and Hanzo is meta, so who knows? Other than that, Breakable Barriers is just a good tournament in my opinion for Overwatch and for its player base. Blizzard's gotten a lot of pushback on how strict they are with their tournament structure. With we have contenders, which they don't support too well, and then we have Overwatch League, no other tournaments kind of thing, no money games, none of that. And that's kind of caused a lot of rift between them and the player base. So having something like this is more loose, kind of more reminiscent of the old style of how Overwatch was played is good to see. And it's good during the downtime, right? As we wait for the league to come back. And it's good exposure, right? It's great exposure for these streamers and these up and coming professional players who may not have a team yet, may not have an open division or a containers team, just kind of know people. And this kind of gives them visibility. And then there's this whole thing with cheating that happened, which we're not going to get into. But if you want to go on the competitive Overwatch Reddit, people are constantly talking about it. Carefree's constantly talking about it. I probably shouldn't even mention his name. But anyways, as always, you can send emails to thebirdwatcherspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow at Twitter at podcast TBW. You can find me on the competitive Overwatch Reddit constantly at the Birdwatchers Podcast. And if you prefer to listen to the podcast on YouTube, we're also there at the Birdwatchers. Also, and I think I mentioned this last episode as well, the Birdwatchers is now on Google Podcasts, Google Play, Google Podcasts. I think they split it. It depends on, I don't know if you have an update on your phone, but look on both. If anything, you'll find it. So as usual, tell one friend about the podcast, leave a quick review, and as always, thank you for listening.
I have destroyed more of your kind than I can count.